మీటింగ్కి ఇవ్వండి మాట్లాడా
क्या कहूँ जी। अरे आज चक्कर आदमी तो मेरा बॉडी ठंडा है। तो मैं सोच रहा हूँ वो करना है, मैंने एक प्रेजेंट करना है तो अभी क्या वो आज चली गई, मतलब कल की अभी बाकी है उसका। यही वाह सिंह चौहान चली गई ना। आया अब कैसी आएगी, कहाँ जाएगी अपना। लगने वाला है
लॉटरी किसकी लगती है वो ऊपर वाला जाने।
क्या
लॉटरी किसकी लगे ऊपर वाला जाने से।
ऊपर वाला जाने नहीं नहीं लग सकती है उसकी लॉटरी। नहीं नहीं चांस यदि बदमाशी ने नहीं किया ना तो ये अरोड़ा चेयरमैन अरोड़ा के पीछे पड़ गया तो बात अलग है। अरोड़ा के नहीं हुआ तो पंजाबी लोग इसको बना देगा।
Good morning. Good morning. Hello, sir.
ఇలా పెడితే మీకు ఇలా పెడితే ఇలా
Good morning. Sorry. Very good morning to everyone. I request everyone to take their seats. A very good morning to everyone present here. I am Hashini Samreddy of Andhra University, inviting every one of you to the International Conference on Knowledge Discoveries on Statistical Innovations and Recent Advances in Optimization, being organized by the Department of Statistics and Population Research Center, Andhra University. Now, I invite President of the function, Professor Icon-Ksrao garu, to come on to the dais and occupy the chair. Now, I invite Bhagavath to give bouquet to President of the function, Professor Icon-Ksrao garu. I invite today's chief guest, Professor Jagannath garu, former chairman and Expo, and retired Professor ISI to come on to the dais and occupy the chair. I invite Mr. Shanti to give bouquet to our chief guest. I invite today's guest to retired Andhra University to come on to the dais and occupy the chair. Now, I invite Subhasha to give bouquet to Professor Ksrao garu. Now, I invite our guest to Professor Icon-Ksrao garu, Principal College of Engineering, Andhra University, to come on to the dais and occupy the chair. I request to give bouquet. Guest to Professor Shankar garu, former Minister of Arts, to come on to the dais and occupy the chair. I request Srihari to give bouquet. Prince Professor P. Suresh Sharma garu to come on to the dais and occupy the chair. I request Jamali to give the bouquet. Now, Professor P. to come on to the dais and occupy. I request Shravani to give the bouquet. Now, Professor B. Muniswamy garu, Head of the Department of Statistics and Honorary Director of Population Research Center. I invite Rupa to give the bouquet. I also become principals of constituent colleges, executive council members of Andhra University, deans, heads of departments, coordinators, and faculty from various departments of Andhra University. I also become professors from course, speaking sessions, delegates who have attended to present the research papers, research scholars, students, press and electronic media on behalf of Andhra University. President of the program, Mr. Icon-Ksrao garu, to continue the program.
Lighting the lamp, I request all the delegates, all the guests on the dais, please join with us to lighting the lamp.
गणपति गणपति मनसा स्मरामि गणपति मनसा स्मरामि गणपति मनसा स्मरामि गणपति मनसा स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमा गणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमा गणपतिं महादेवसुतं देवसुतं देवसुतं प्रकाशं शान्तं देवसुतं प्रकाशं शान्तं काव्यनाटकादे प्रियम् काव्यनाटकादे प्रियं मूषिकवाहनमोदका प्रियं काव्यनाटकादे प्रियं मूषिकवाहनमोदका प्रियं गणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमा गणपतिम्
Thank you. Next item, President's opening remarks. Respected Professor, a legendary personality in statistics, former Chairman NSSO, retired professor from ISI, professor teacher of Garu, our able administrator and a well-known physicist, rector, Professor Sanatagaru, my good friend and a classmate. I was always proud to be a classmate of him, and the principal of College of Engineering, Professor P. Icon-Ksrao, and another my good friend, and Diane of Statistics and Operation Research, former Registrar, Sanskrit University, and retired professor from Icon University, Professor Rama Shankar, and convener of this conference, my good friend, and former Charge Vice Chancellor of Andhra University, Professor Verma Garu, and my student, I'm very proud to say that, and another Diane of Statistics, and Dean, School of Mathematics, Pondicherry University, Professor Tirupati, my good friend, very dynamic head of the department, Professor Manaswamy Garu, and many very eminent personalities, Andhra University, many faculty members, my teacher, Professor B. Shurnan Garu, and several other faculty members, my department colleagues, Professor Nirmala Devi, Icon-Ksrao, research scholars, my dear students, and young student friends of this year, very good morning to you all. I see it is today of this conference. In fact, this conference is to be organized in July 31st, in coincidence of my superannuation. But due to various reasons, that was not conducted at the time. Then, many of my students, my friends, well-wishers, they were always telling that they want to organize this conference in collaboration with my association with 5 societies in the statistics and OR area, that is IISA, where I was very much associated with that International Indian Statistical Association, ISPS, where I was acted as the president and editor of the journal for so many years on that and a last number, and Operations Research Society of India, where I was 3 terms vice president for that, and SSCA, I'm a life member and editorial board member, as well as also delivered several lectures in that as a keynote speaker also in that conference and other things. And all these societies, they want to conduct this conference in honor of me. And in fact, I was hesitant whether I am eligible to accept this honor or not because of that. Yeah. But when my students and my friends like Rama Shankar and others persuaded me, then I say, honor of the conference. But the condition there will be no felicitations. That then this conference has been taken place, and in fact, our vice chancellor is very, very keen about participating on this conference because of 2 reasons. One is he is a great computer scientist who deals with data analytics and data science. Another part is he is also a well-wisher of me and also very much affectionate towards me. He told that he told my presence in the conference is going on because due to unavoidable addition he has to move there, and he has went to Amravati. There is a vice chancellor's meeting is there, so he is attending that, and similarly registrar also that. But this conference I am very happy because that there are several of the international and Indian well-known statisticians. They are participating and presenting their invited talks as well as their contributions in the paper submit. So this is of blended mode. One session is offline, 5 sessions are online. So this is more of online that, and the theme of the topic that they have chosen is very, this current day needs, in particular data science and statistics. That is knowledge discoveries on these statistical innovations and recent advancements. This is very much important in the area of statistics, particularly for the data science. Because basically earlier, the statistical analysis used to take care of every data analysis, data part. Statistics is the mother of all data sciences, we say. So in that format, statistics itself covers all parts of the data analysis, data science related topics and other things. But later, due to technological innovations in computational methodologies, particularly the data mining from statistical science, another branch has been thrown out and become a big tree that is on data mining. Then from that, data analytics. Then from that, we have big data to handle, because some of the direct statistical analysis methodologies and tools may not be suitable for that. So big data has came. Then coming over all these things, integrating all the interdisciplinary nature of the data science has been evolved. So in data science, statistics, operations research, computer science, takes this part plays.
The other one was not very browser. What is that?
So this conference
But that the other laptop is not supporting that. That's what you're saying. So I should call technician to see what your problem is.
So this, I congratulate the organizers, particularly.
See, I have the antivirus, but I put it off. I did turn it off. I had turned off my antivirus, then downloaded it, but still it gave me the problem.
Why that?
So you're saying that this laptop, the WebEx.
Nagendra, any disturbance?
Okay.
This is the little challenges that comes in blended mode of conference we have. Because the interface that is there with the outside the closed room that may create the problems. Of course, there is a lot of technological advancements to control that. Okay, coming to this, I congratulate all of my students, my well-wishers, friends for choosing this topic. My name also, Icon-Ksrao. That is their innovation, whether I don't know. Maybe my students like all these people, Perpatra, Verma and Munaswami, these people have been put their mind. Unless one put their mind for some time, this sort of coincidence with the name does not happen with the title. So I congratulate them for taking all these part of the consideration. I hope this conference definitely will the advanced methodologies, discoveries, knowledge, innovations in the area of statistics, operations research, computer science and data science, particularly. Because now computer science take care about all the disciplines into that fold. As I already told, it is the mother of the all data sciences. So it has given birth to several of the other disciplines. In fact, it has born from mathematics also, but later it has given birth to several other disciplines like data science, operations research, and also a part of the computer science, I say. So, with this, next, I invite the organizing secretary's report, Professor B. Maniswaman.
Today's function president, Professor K. Srinivasarao garu, Honorable Chief Guest, Professor T. J. Rao garu, Distinguished Guest of Honors, P. Srinivasarao, Principal, College of Engineering, Professor Uma Shankar garu, Sir, this conference convener Varma garu, Adhikari, Andhra University, and our dynamic doctor, Professor Samatana garu, then our conference program chair, Professor Department of Statistics, Andhra University, and my senior faculty members, colleagues, research scholars, participants, my dear students. A very good morning to one and all. I am Professor B. Maniswaman, Professor, Department of Statistics, and organizing secretary of this 4 days international conference and the 4 days e-workshop. So this conference entitled Knowledge Discoveries on Statistical Innovations and Recent Advances in Optimization. And the name is Icon-Ksrao 2022. So no doubt at all, Icon-Ksrao is the icon of statistics department, right? He is well a senior professor, right? In Andhra state, he is present senior professor in our department. And a 2-day national workshop also organized by the Department of Statistics and Population Research Center, Andhra University, Visakhapatnam. In honor of Professor K. Srinivasarao, Andhra University, Visakhapatnam is organized by the Department of Statistics Population Research Center during 27-28 is 2-day national workshop and 29-38 is international conference. With blended mode, both online and offline in association with International Indian Statistical Association, Indian Society for Probability and Statistics, Operational Research Society of India, and Society of Statistics Computer and Application. So I feel honored to welcome all the distinguished guests, invited speakers, delegates, dear student friends. The pre-conference workshop is conducted and provided the skill training and capacity building practices session during 27th and 28th December entitled Data Science and Big Data Analytics using R. Okay, so at present the data science boom is there, and also there is a gap between supply and demand of data scientists. So in that way we conducted a 2-day national workshop. Then the main objective of this conference is to create an intellectual forum of statistical scientists, data analysts, and optimization techniques from all over the globe. The conference is proposed to arrange the plenary talks, keynote addresses, innovative sessions, technical paper presentations, sharing of study, dissemination of new knowledge discoveries in acceptance sampling, actuarial statistics, agricultural statistics, data mining, big data, analytics, artificial intelligence, Internet of things, pretty high dimensional data analytics, machine learning, okay, then mathematical modeling, neural networks, official statistics. So these areas are covered in this conference. So after sending the brochure to all our Indian universities as well as in abroad, so we have received a very presenting papers. So we have arranged totally 5 technical sessions, online, one offline, parallel sessions, and also 30 technical sessions we arranged, 31 innovative talks, and we have received 226 research papers for publishing. Okay, so next and also the financial support given by, okay, so National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAC, National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD, Indian National Science Academy, sir, National Research Society of India, ORSI, so Reserve Bank of India, Gayatri Vidya Persons College of Degree and PG courses, and Tiger Education gratefully acknowledged. And finally, my sincere thanks to our university administrations, especially our Vice Chancellor, Professor PVGD Prasad Reddy Garu. He is supporting and encouraging the academic activities. And also, I thankful to our Rector, Madam Professor K. Samata Garu, and also I thank to the our Registrar, Professor V. Krishnamohan Garu, and our principals, deans, all other heads. So I am sure that you all will benefit with knowledge after completion of this conference. So I welcome you all once again to the international conference and hope that you all will have a great time ahead. Thank you and thank you all again. Thank you.
Sir, like nicely. Next item is, this is about K. Srinivasarao by Professor C. Uma Shankar. In fact, I don't think that it required. Here, the program is kept on that. Okay, now I request Uma Shankar to say in brief, very briefly.
The distinguished professor of statistics. Mike, it was right? So, the distinguished professor of statistics of Andhra University, Professor K. Srinivasarao, the recipient of today's international conference honors, and not it is being officially done by the students, the entire student fraternity of statistics, sir, was interested in holding a wonderful conference and a workshop in honor of the services that has been rendered by Professor Srinivasarao all through the 4 decades of service he has in the Andhra University. Professor Srinivasarao was born to Sri Kameshwara Garu and Ramanamma Garu in 1960 at Dubbili, and he had his earliest scholastic education at Vijayanagaram colleges. It is by immense pleasure, though not necessary to introduce him, as he is known here as KSR, to many of the students, the colleagues, the faculty, and the entire statistical fraternity. It is only a formal thing that needs to be introduced on the dais as far as an international conference proceedings are concerned. And Professor Icon-Ksrao is a GR in the camp of statistical fraternity who proved himself as a towering personality with combination of high quality of academics, administrative positions, and different activities during his scintillating and untiring service for the cause of higher education. Professor K.S. being an alumni of the Department of Statistics of Andhra University, who completed his doctoral degree and joined the global services at the Andhra University Department of Statistics as a lecturer, and with his teaching brilliance, who has won me thousands of students of arts, research, and proving beyond a researcher by demonstrating quality research coupled with honoring. Many administrative positions have been added to him, rendering his service, he rose today to the level of the principal of College of Sciences and Technology of Andhra University. Professor K.S. Rao guided about 60 doctoral students in different allied disciplines of statistics, computer science, industrial engineering, electronics, communication engineering, and applied mathematics. He has a rare distinction of introducing many innovative statistical distributions, which are highly useful today in practical applications and industrial applications. He has the credit of publishing over 250 research quality papers in the referred journals, but in the international and national journals, of which in recent times papers have been Scopus indexed. He has a rare distinction of completing several research projects which are funded by the Government of India and the Government of Andhra Pradesh, University Grants Commission, the Department of Science and Technology, the NSTL and DPT of Visakhapatnam. Professor Rao has participated in more than 160 international and national conferences, workshops, delivered many keynote and plenary talks while chairing many technical sessions. Professor Rao has a rare academic distinction of organizing 20 international and national conferences, workshops, and he has a credit of a Six Sigma Master Black Belt and an ISO lead editor. The academic output led to the award of the prestigious three patents he has. But it is a very rare event for an academician in the university corridors getting the patents here. So it is a wonderful distinction that it's a feather in his cap of earning the patents for his wonderful research. Professor Rao is a life member of many international and national scientific societies, and a few Indian society, Government Statistics, International Indian Statistical Association, Operations Research Society of India, Computer Science Society of India, and etc. And he has the proud privilege of serving all the scientific societies as the president of the scientific societies, and also he has served as the vice president for many years of all the scientific societies in the country. He has also served as the chief editor of the Journal of Indian Society for Probability and Statistics between 2010 and 2017, and published by associate editor for a long time for Operations Research Journal of India between 2012 and 2017, and Andhra University Journal of Advanced Sciences. Professor Rao held many administrative positions which have adored him. He was never after the administrative positions, but the administrative positions have adored him as the head of the Department of Statistics, Chairman Board of Studies, Andhra University, Chairman NAC Steering Committee, Chairman Faculty of Sciences, and Member Secretary of Andhra Pradesh State government of AP between 2015 and 2019, doing research and development of Andhra University between 14 and 16, and served as an examiner for many prestigious Indian and abroad universities and institutions, and presently serving as the principal of Andhra University College of Sciences and Technology. Apart from these many achievements, he has the ability of undertaking the consultancy work, and he has rendered his consultancy services to TCS, Chennai, BHU of Hyderabad, and other 6 corporate companies. He has the credit of publishing a book, Model-Based Image Segmentation. Professor Rao received cash prize and letter of appreciation from the Andhra University Authority for his distinguished services. He is a fellow of the Academy of Sciences, and he is a fellow of Operation Research Society of India, and a coveted distinction of being honored as a distinguished scientist, statistician from Indian Society of Probability and Statistics. If I start saying all these things, the list goes on. And he is a distinguished professor of statistics, and for me, I had lots of fortune enough, and I am really privileged to be associating with your function today on the international conference and speak few words about your caliber and your achievements, our distinctions of being basically an academician and a student of statistics who has earned as a researcher, winning the hearts of the students and publishing papers, attending conferences, conducting many academic programs and so forth. And I wish and I pray the Lord of seven years the best of health on him to continue as an academician and say 62 years old of scale as far as the service is concerned, but he continues to be an academician for the cause of the students who will be benefiting a lot from his expertise and his brilliance of statistical, the nature of his studies. Now I take perhaps maybe a little bit of myself out of this, the congregation, as he was not feeling well at about 5-6 months back, for which reason the conference has been postponed today. And I very much so of the benefit, I would like to Lord Venkateshwar and Professor Icon-Ksrao, Madam and his children, and also of the dignitaries that sitting on the dais, and the guests, faculty, and the scholars, participants, and delegates of the conference, to have lots of blessings on all of us for our own good being, and in particular, for a wonderful and perfect health of Professor Icon-Ksrao in days to come, for serving the statistical fraternity. Now, I may request to play the Vedic Ashirvacanam that is being rendered by the Vedic Pandits of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanams. Please. Thank you. And thank you all for allowing me to perform this Vedic Asirachan on Professor Ksrao. And I strongly believe that for many years, I had many discussions with him right from many days. And I have been a consistent regular examiner for Andhra University. And we together went for many conferences, workshops together and shared the thought or two over a period of times and all. So I thank Professor Rao profusely on behalf of myself, my wife, my son, whom had the personal interaction with Professor KSR and his family members. And once again, Professor Rao, I pray the Lord of Seven Hills to bestow all his benevolence and benedictions upon you and bestow his Ashirvasanams. Particularly, I say that for your good, sound health to serve the statistical fraternity. I thank a lot on behalf of my personal self, and I thank the organizing committee for giving me a chance or an opportunity to speak few words about Professor K.S. Rao. Thank you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ramashankar, for your nice words. Please, go to. I am not, it is only about my personal self. My personal self, I will best discuss. Thank you, Professor Ramashankar, for your nice words and your affection towards me in this. And next item is releasing this souvenir. I request Professor Teacher and Professor Samata Madam to release this souvenir. Please.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Respected my teacher, Professor Srinivasarao Garu, and another my respected teacher, Professor P. Srinivasarao Garu, on the dais, and all my teachers of the Department of Statistics, Andhra University, of the dais, and today's చీఫ్ గెస్ట్ ప్రొఫెసర్ టీజే రావు గారు అండ్ ప్రొఫెసర్ కె సమత గారు అండ్ ప్రొఫెసర్ వర్మ అండ్ ప్రొఫెసర్ మునిస్వామి అండ్ మై beloved mentor, Professor Umashankar Garu, on the dais. It's my proud privilege to stand before my teachers with all their blessings. What I am today is I have something, an emotional, a bit of feelings of mine today. When I was a student, when I got my master's degree in 88, when I approached my teacher, Professor Srinivasrao Garu, "Sir, you have observed me. Can you comment on my deservingness, whether I am competent to say I am Tirupati Rao MSc, Master of Science in Statistics?" On that day, Professor Srinivasrao has mentioned that, "My dear Tirupati Rao, you and me belong to this great university. Do you know when this university was established? It is 1926, sir. When you are asking this question, 1988, sir. How old our university? 62 years, sir. A 62 years old university is making its own indelible impressions from the last 6 decades. Who am I to comment on your degree? So, I don't have the competency, but I'll give you the question what you have is a healthy question. I will show the path. I will show the path. My Guru blessed me. The path is face the students. They will tell what is your talent. With his suggestion, advice, and guidance, I went to my alma mater, Mrs. Avian College, Visakhapatnam, the great temple of learning. So, my Avian College has made me my parents have given me birth, but that college and my teacher molded me as a shape. And I am very much grateful to all my students because they skilled me, they carved me, they shaped me, and they may fine-tuned me. So, with all this great gratitudes to all the people in the gathering, the real meaning of a teacher, Acharya, Acharam itihi Acharyaha, the person who preaches, who speaks through his practices, not with mouth. That what I observed with my teachers, Professor K. Srinivasrao Garu and Sir Peri Srinivasrao Garu also. Really, I am blessed with these Acharyas. And my deep gratitude to these people. With this note, my role is I have to speak a few words regarding the program chair. Coming to the topic, the theme of the conference we have chosen as statistical innovations in knowledge discovery, in optimization. Now, Government of India makes this education policy, new education policy, of course, National Education Policy 2020. It is propagating the knowledge called STEM. A knowledge tree should have a STEM. What this STEM stands for? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Mathematics is such a knowledge discipline, such a communication discipline, without which you cannot address, you cannot communicate, you cannot understand what the concepts behind science, technology, and engineering. Now, the order of knowledge discoveries, if you say science is a discipline always supported with established principles, well-proved facts is the science. The technology is something like a visible system which making use of the science as a software, as a hidden. Without a hidden component of the science, technology cannot make anything. Coming to the engineering, engineering is the knowledge component making skilled way of using technology. So if you want to make the science, technology, engineering as a productivity, communicate that, we need the language of mathematics. Our ancestors' subject is mathematics. We are all the offsprings of which we are enjoying it. Now, just now my teacher has mentioned how the statistics is now transforming into different disciplines with a backdrop of data related, data science, data technology, data engineering, data innovation, and there is another component which is data intelligence. We have to explore the intelligence within the data. One data cannot speak anything. We have to make it process. We have to convert the data as a user and product. Then only it reveals its intelligence within it. And this intelligence cannot be reached to all. This is the people who can make the statistical science as their knowledge component. Statistics is a number science. It's a language of numbers. If you want to speak with numbers, you have to understand what it is. So intelligence is something like a hidden knowledge or hidden information within the data. Now, processing the data is having a different phenomenon. So, data innovations, data intelligence, these are all the order of the day where total community. I'm very glad that my students, at that time, it is 25. Now, our Professor Srinivasarao has mentioned that the strength is increased to 90. And even the 90 people also, they are unable to accommodate. Some people, some demand, we have unable to accommodate. This is a very great sign. Now, attraction towards the data science, of course, our nomenclature is now more popular with data science. Data science deals with different types of data, in which statistics has more combinatorial aspects upon this. Keeping in this point of view, innovations are meant for teaching, research, community extension, knowledge, expansion to the user. I'm glad that my teacher has patents and the innumerable number of research papers, 250 more. And he has very foundational works. He has contributed on 6 probability distributions in which. And my teacher is a multi-talented and multidisciplined researcher, which makes not only statistics, not only allied sciences statistics, but are computer science, data science, computer engineering, image processing, all these works very laudable. He has around 12 projects with funding agencies. What the advantage is, I'm always feeling, I have as a student, I have a innumerable number of interactions with Professor Srinivasarao. But my proud privilege and the God's grace is that at every interaction, I use it to have some meeting, I use it to get from his. It's my real wish that my teacher mentored me, motivated me, making that the real guru, the path maker, the path bearer for me That's the reason why it's my very, very special gratitude to my teacher. I would like to take this opportunity for the same. The thought has to be ignited, has to be converted, and knowledge to be illuminated. Knowledge illuminates only who are visualizing. The initial genetic point is the thought. The flashlight thought has to be converted as a knowledge product. Researchers are always striving to convert their thoughts as knowledge products. They are very happy when they are visualizing their baby after 9 months. Researchers have to see that once their thought is converted as a research product, once they have visualized what they thought as a knowledge product as a researcher, then that is the real happiness. And being teachers, who are the knowledge propagators. Being the researchers, who are the knowledge discoverers. Being the of a society, we are extending our all knowledge ingredients to the required community. So, in the society, teacher is the most vibrant person for giving back something to the society. In his lifetime, a teacher can produce millions of brains. Reform the total society. In that way, my teacher has such a great credit, and the token of small that thing, we have an opportunity to celebrate this conference and to create the platform, disseminating the knowledge. In these few words, I thank organizers for considering me in this program, to associate in this program. Thank you, Anil. Thank you, Perpetual. Really, for your nice affection and towards me. In fact, I would like to mention one thing here. When Perpetual wants to take out into the program, he came to me and told, then usually I was working in queuing theory and also with inventory modeling by that time and little distributions, new distributions we have been invented. Then he told, sir, I want to do something very appropriate, where it will be very useful. And I would like to do that. Then I told, I will tell you after a few days. You please go ahead with your readings of the earlier, which area you will be interested, please go ahead. Then he told that after 5 days, I want to do in medicine, medical area. In fact, he has a lot of aspirations. He wants to go abroad and do a lot of things, interaction with that and a lot of things. So, I want to do in medical area. That was a new area to me. I have taken it as an opportunity for me to work in new area of statistical analysis. Then we worked together and we have been done cancer cell growth angle. That was very, very useful. In fact, we published it in a very reputed journals, that publication. That has helped me ordinary student going with same type of things what is there. Some of the students come and tell that if it is there earlier, I will continue that. So he wants to do some innovations. In that, I am very happy he rose to the position of being the dean of the very prestigious Ramanujam School of Mathematical Sciences in Pondicherry University. So, with this, thank you. Next, I request Professor P. Suresh Verma, my indirect student also, not my direct student. We are also given an opportunity to work in another new area of communication networks. So I always think that every student has given me new areas to work, to expand my knowledge, so I could work in computer science Verma is my first student to work in computer science, in fact. So we have published a lot of papers in interdependent communication network models with dynamic bandwidth allocation. It was a new innovation, in fact. We don't know about at the time the patents, more awareness and that. Otherwise, we could have been got a patent for dynamic bandwidth allocation. We have published a lot of papers. So that has been very much utilized in network communication networks. So with this, I request Verma to say a few words in this.
Good morning to all. Respected President of the function, Professor Icon-Ksrao, and the respected Previous Chief Guest, Professor P.J. Rao, and the Rector of Andhra University, Professor Salazar, and the Indian College Principal, Professor P.J. and Professor Masha organizing secretary and Municipal Gari and the faculty and other gurus and professors, research scholars, and all the students. So it is really a privilege to me to speak few words in front of my guru and my gurus. First thing, whenever we are thinking about the computer science, so now previous speakers said that Sir is the icon of statistics, no, he is the icon of computer science. Because we created a user and later I produced 23 PhDs and my students are producing a lot of computer science thesis. For computer science, because today, 2 decades back, when I was in the weak mind, and when I approached in 2003, first time to the I don't know exactly what is statistics. Which was it only support. Really, I chose a lot of things, even when I got a job from Arbitrary Andhra University. And Sir only person said that don't think any other thing, simply don't join. Because at the time, university, there was a small room in the arts college. This was so many people were discovered also because when life and we cannot go. But Sir is teachers are don't think anything, don't join. So due to that motivation, then I struggled initially. Whatever achieved, one of the blessings of Professor Icon-Ksrao. So in this occasion, I want to say one incident. Because I always remember, in 2006, I applied one international conference at IIM Ahmedabad, and my paper is not yet finalized, and same day I had to go, at that day, Sir father is expired. I never asked anything, I stand just as standing. Sir, I was really surprised. At that time, he asked me to come aside. చిట్టుపేరు కూర్చొని సబ్జెక్ట్ అంతా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశాను అక్కడంతా చనిపోయిన రోజులు ఈ రోజు కూడా అండ్ లాస్ట్ 20 years and continuously associated with him, I always take advice from him. And I'm succeeding in all aspects. That is the blessings of my Guru. And another small thing I have to tell, Professor Icon-Ksrao is also my first Guru. Even at the age of 18, I used to go to the Shukshas to him. And I'm very happy that thanks to him because he is introduced to Professor Icon-Ksrao in 2003. Icon-Ksrao, sir, I want to do computer science PhD, but at that lights are available. We want to write for the computers. Can you help, sir? When he is a referrer, Professor Icon-Ksrao, so thank you, sir. So his first thing is linked. Today I'm blessed and good position. And this is a situation because we have to explain a commitment, education, and especially in the data science. So is the doing the major way, but we is recognized it back. We are introduced a new bandwidth integration, and the first time functional solutions for these solar models. So from that, based on that, I also produced the increase in the same area by extending my work. And regarding to conference, because this name is kept, because this is a mixture of all subjects. If you observe each and every subject, subsiding also, science focused on each and every subsiding. Otherwise, biology and is interested in more than 100 conferences speeches. I know that because biology students are very less in the computer science, because even in my wife also is a student of Icon-Ksrao and Icon-Ksrao, and she is also the person, and she is also in a good position. My family, because even whenever I'm discussing about my daughter, I discuss with the sir, it is six. I'm family very happy. And because I tries to do all the organizers for including me as a community, and I tries to be presentation, and we have to thank Andhra University Vice Chancellor, Professor Prasad Reddy Garu, because he is my direct guide. So, and Registrar Krishna Garu, and all other officials from the Andhra University, the opportunity and for allowing to organize this committee. So once again, thank you, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your nice words in this occasion. And in fact, Verma's Mrs. is a direct student. So, next, I request my good friend, my classmate, as I mentioned, and my well-wisher. For the last 40 years we met. I still remember in September 1980, we met in the classroom. Then onwards, until now, we are very close. Almost every day we speak each other and we share experiences, thoughts, dreams, happiness, everything. More than I say, our wives, they have more emotion and discussion from. But now I request to Prerit Vinod to speak on this occasion. Wonderful. This even Mr. Russell, respected Director, Andhra University, Senator Madam, the Chief Guest of today's function, P. Driver, and my good friends, Professor Sharma, and Secretary, and Professor Shankar Garu, and the head of the Department of Statistics, etc. Swami, and my colleagues of the DAS, student friends, a very good morning to all of you. This is a very peculiar day. When this event is organized, as mentioned by Srinivaso himself, I was in a small doubt whether I can use the word superannuation in this during my speech or not. Okay. Repair I can. But to clear my doubt, he himself used it. This event is organized
some time back, supposed to be held a few months back, on occasion of his superannuation. But for, as he mentioned, for various reasons, it's postponed, and now all the wishes, his students, friends, and all well wishes, it has become a reality, and now we are all assembled here to organize. I don't know whether he will allow me to use celebrate this occasion. See, my association with Dr. Icon-Ksrao, it's a very long association. He mentioned it. We both joined the Department of Statistics in the year 1980. So almost it was 42 years. So all these 42 years we were together. And for a short period, after completing our master's degree, I moved out. I went to IT Kharagpur for my PhD program. He continued here in the department. In spite of that separation, so during those 4 years of stay, also, the moment I reached Visakhapatnam, I used to throw away my luggage at my home and go to. He was a bachelor, he was residing in some bachelor quarter. And for my vacation period, whatever it is, maybe 10 days, 15 days, most of the time I used to spend with them only, along with a few more friends. Used to live in that bachelor quarter. So we all used to gather there and share our feelings and experiences. And at the end of my vacation, my father used to say, "Why are you coming to home, leaving your luggage here? Next time you don't come with your luggage, don't leave your luggage here. Please take this luggage and straight go to Srinath's place." So that was how we used to be together. So even during our during those 4 years, fortunately, he joined the service in 85, and fortunately, I also happened. I never thought that we'll be back here. Though from the beginning, I'm interested in teaching profession. I never dreamt that I'll be back to Andhra University only. So I may get a job elsewhere also. I never expected that I'll be back to Andhra University. So, 85, he joined. In 87, I came back to Andhra University. Actually, in 86, I was supposed to get into the same Department of Statistics. Today I'm in computer engineering, but before that, 1 year before that, I was supposed to be in the Department of Statistics as a faculty. But as I mentioned, fortunately or unfortunately, so I moved to the Department of Computer Engineering the very next year. I joined Department of Computer Engineering in 87. Today I feel that it happened to the members, both of us, because the Department of Statistics, today both of us would not have reached this place in this position, because he is already there before me on the track. So when he is the principal, I will never get a chance to become principal of the same college, being of the same age group. And when I joined, because of computer engineering, I joined the Department of Engineering. And that given me slight edge for him. And every time I was one step ahead of him. Okay, in the career life here. Even the principal position, I joined a few months earlier to him. Later, he joined all the, I'm also very superannuated in another 2 days. So out of my 62 years of life, 37 years of fruitful time we spent on the campus. If you started from my college days, it was 42. So of these 42 years, rather 47 years of my university career, I'm influenced, thoroughly influenced by people. God have a different script. I mean, a very surprising and maybe sometimes it is good. But he scripted such a way that I got a great friend and Srinivas from my college days. And there is another man who thoroughly influenced me in my professional career. That is none other than our Honorable Icon-Ksrao Professor TVD. So there also we joined on the same day. So I have come across a lot of people in my life, okay, inside the university, outside the university. But I am only influenced by only these two personalities. Fortunately, both of them are every personalities this generation of this university. So that way I am very great. I mean, I feel proud. I feel very happy. Both my friends, okay, just the position of the university, a very well-known person, academician across the world, and Srinivas is also already all the speakers spoke about him. But for today's generation, I just would like to say, give an advice. See, a lot of people here, even there are teachers also there. This is applicable to all, not just for the students of the Department of Statistics. This is applicable to everyone who is here. See, a lot of people spoke many great things about Professor Icon-Ksrao. He really deserves all of them, all those prizes. But it has not come to him easily. Nobody understands. Everybody speaks only about his success, his contributions, his personality and all. But there is a lot of hardship. No one can understand it. I have seen him very closely. I can certainly say that in the near future, there is no replacement in this university for Professor Icon-Ksrao. Because finding a person of Srinivas's dedication. Because in his younger days, a lot of people, they want some job, they want some career, want some money, want some personal life, etc., want to enjoy their youth. Okay. That was not the case with him. He was in the department, he was in the chamber, he was with his students, he was with his research. So I had never seen him going for a movie with his wife or with his family. I don't know how many times he had done. I had never seen him going for any party. I had never seen him in any social gathering. That is the kind of dedication Professor Srinivas had. I think this, many of the youngsters here, and success won't come so easily. And many of his research students are also here. See, very, your degree is not the end of it. Really, if you want to follow him, so you please try to emulate all his qualities,
And already we have two examples here. One is Professor Tibbetro and the other one is Professor Verma. They have not ended just their careers, I mean, getting their degrees. Both of them have continued university and both of them have proved and also have been proving even in the near future also. They will certainly stand up to universe, I mean, stand as Srinivasa's students in the academic world. And then I hope certainly they will also bring Lawrence to Professor Srinivasa's. And I think that this is a time for me to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I wish the God to bless Professor Srinivasa and his family, all prosperity, health, wealth, peaceful life. Thank you, Professor Perry, Srinivasa.
1 minute. 1 minute.
You want to talk?
Okay.
So, ఇక్కడ కావాలని వచ్చా నేను ఆంధ్ర యూనివర్సిటీ సరే ఐఐటి హైదరాబాద్ నుంచి వచ్చిన తర్వాత both Srinivasa also happy to be first batch students. I'm really happy to see these two people as principals in different colleges. As Professor P. Srinivasa has mentioned that everything is very good. He has also become principal and Srinivasa is principal. And one point I want to clarify that since the beginning of the MSc students, I think I joined when they were also. Since then, they have been together almost every day. And I'm very happy and I wish both of them all success with future endeavors. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity.
Thank you, Srinan garu. Well, Perry Srinivasa and myself were classmates. He is the first rank holder, I was the second rank holder. I had a little jealous towards him during the MSc. Whenever I want to talk about, but already he is ahead of me in marks. Because I have better activities in the campus. I was very silent once I became the faculty. Earlier to that as a student leader, I was a little aggressive. So my time was, most of my time was associated with ABVP activities. So, at the same time, he is the first time holder. And once he had completed the course, he told, I want to go to IIT. Then I told I will remain here, I will become a faculty member of the department. By the time two vacancies were there in our department. So when I joined as a research scholar, I was very confident that I can get this. Only one post I applied for this is that as a university lecturer at that time, I got selected. And thank you for your kind words. Now I request below doctor and famous physicist and also very much affectionate towards me. In many aspects, very cooperative of development of our college, particularly whenever an occasion comes. So I request Samita Madam to speak in this occasion. Make it good, madam.
Respected Professor T. Former Chairman, National Sample Survey Organization, and retired Professor, Indian Statistical Institute, today's chief guest, Principal, College of Engineering, Andhra University, P. Srinivasarao garu, former RSVP, Professor C. Kumar Shankar garu, President of today's conference, Principal, College of Science and Technology, Andhra University, Professor K. Srinivasarao garu, Convener, Department of Computer Science, Adhika Vinanaya University, Professor P. Suresh Verma garu, Program Chair, Department of Statistics, Pondicherry University, Professor P. Tirupati garu, Acting Secretary, Department of Statistics, Andhra University, Professor B. Muniswami garu, other dignitaries, participating in virtual mode, resource persons, scholars, students. Good morning to all. It is very pleasing to note that the Department of Statistics and Population Research Center, Andhra University, is an international conference on knowledge discoveries, on statistical innovations, and recent advances in application in coordination with International Indian Statistical Association, Indian Society for Probability and Statistics, Operational Research Society of India, Society of Statistics, Computer and Applications, and all other institutions. So this conference is organized in honor of Professor K. Srinivasarao garu on his superannuation. But there is no superannuation. People like Professor K. Srinivasarao garu and Professor P. Srinivasarao garu, we always give respect and honor to them. They are asset to the Andhra University. And the Department of Statistics and Population Research Center has become a trendsetter, not only keeping pace with the latest technological developments in the field of statistics and its applications, but also drawing attention of the stakeholders to the latest advances in the field through conducting such important conferences and workshops. So, I would like to say a few words on this topic. My previous speakers clearly elaborated about this topic. During the more chancellor have seen the conduct of as many informative and resourceful workshops and under the leadership of our present Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor P.G.D. Prasad Reddy garu. We are very fortunate to work with such a dynamic Vice Chancellor whose student-friendly initiatives and reformist measures are worthy of emulation. Statistics is the science concerned with developing and studying methods for analyzing, interpreting, and presenting empirical data. Statistics is an important subject in different fields in our day-to-day life. Statistics aids in planning and the decision process of the businesses. Additionally, it helps in determining which proposals work and which don't. Inflation statistics gives direction to future action and it exemplified what is needed and what is important. statistics is used for data speech recognition, vision, and image analysis, data production, artificial intelligence, network and traffic modeling. A statistical background is essential for understanding algorithms and statistical properties that form the backbone of computer science. Individuals use statistics to make decisions in financial planning and budgeting, while organizations banks use statistics to lower risk in lending operations, encourage activity in the financial market, and the impact of economic crisis. Statistical methods involved in carrying out a study include planning, designing, collecting data, analyzing, drawing interpretation, and reporting the research findings. In a nutshell, with the help of statistical applications, the bulk data can be presented in a precise and definite form. The comparison and the conclusions of data become easy. Knowledge discovers the effect of finding previously unknown patterns and designs from a big volume of data sets and converting the active patterns into understandable and applicable knowledge information. For example, application of critical intelligence, that is extracted from crime data, is used in many ways for investigation of individual crimes as well as busting criminal networks. In other words, data mining and knowledge discovery is of analyzing large amounts of data and picking out only relevant information, leading to the knowledge discovery process for extracting meaningful patterns, rules, and models from raw data, making discovered patterns understandable. Data mining is a phenomenon that deals with the extraction of implicit, previously unknown, and potentially useful information from data stored in databases. Innovation refers to something new, such as invention or the practice of developing and introducing new things. An innovation is often a new product, but it can also be a new way of doing something or even a new way of thinking. Making the best or most effective use of a situation or resource. In mathematics, computer science, and economics, optimization refers to the means by which we arrive at the best solution among feasible and workable alternatives. Application of optimization technique. One can obtain the desired design parameters and the best set of operating conditions. With regard to the recent advances in optimization, I think that this is to be dealt with by well convergent with the latest trends and keep abreast of the latest developments in the field. While thanking the organizer for conducting this conference involving several reputed institutions in the field, I request the faculty, scholars, students, and others concerned to make effective use of such workshops to enrich your knowledge. Thank you very much for making me part of this conference and giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your nice and informative talk on this occasion. Thank you very much. Now, I invite Sri University to introduce the chief guest to this august audience. And before that, Professor T.J. Rao, he was the selection committee member when I joined in this university as an assistant professor, that is lecturer at that time. He was the selection committee member. Of course, at that time I was not very much associated. Later on, whenever an occasion comes, I was interacting with him. He is very affectionate. Whenever I go to ISI, he used to the required hospitalities, particularly under accommodation as well as that. Now I request Srinu Sethi to introduce our chief guest.
Thank you, sir. I am honored and privileged to introduce Professor Kanduri Jagannatha Rao. Professor T.J. Rao is a well-nurtured and nourished product of a prestigious university and institute. He completed MA Mathematics at Andhra University, Masters in Statistics, PhD at Indian Statistical Institute. His PhD thesis entitled Contribution to the Theory of Sampling Strategies, submitted to the Indian Statistical Institute in 1967. Professor T.J. Rao joined ISI in July 1967 and retired on superannuation in 2005 at ISI Kolkata. On being from ISI, he is a visiting professor at universities and institutions in UK, USA, Australia, and Malaysia for over 10 years. He held various elevated positions such as managing editor of Sankhya from 1993 to 2001. He acted as chairman, governing council of National Sample Survey Organization from 2001 to 2004. He was an adjunct professor at C.R. Rao Advanced Institute of Mathematics, Statistics and Computer Science from 2009 to 2019. Professor T.J. Rao is a member Research Advisory Committees at National Institute of Rural Development, Center for Economic and Social Studies, Reserve Bank of India, Governments of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, and member of various university bodies in India. He being a researcher, his accomplishment has published more than a century, papers and articles mostly on sampling theory and some on official statistics in various international and national journals such as Metrica, Journal of the Royal Statistical Society, Journal of the American Statistical Association, Indian Society of Agricultural Statistics, Sankhya, and etc. He is awarded with the National Award in Statistics of Government of India 2016 in memory of Professor P.V. Sukrati and Honorary Fellow of Andhra Pradesh Academy of Sciences. Thank you.
Sethi. Sir, I request Professor T.J. Rao Garu to deliver a lecture. He is the very famous statistician of our country as well as in abroad. In that.
Thanks you for the nice words. It is not yet all. Good morning, everybody. And we have esteemed delegates on the dais and all the delegates in front of me. This is scholars, faculty of various departments, students, and everybody else who are present here. It's a great occasion for me to participate in this Icon-Ksrao conference. Actually, the Mnemonic must be congratulated because I talked quite a little bit in getting these things. It's just fitted Professor Srinivasa Rao, technology discovery and RO, recent advances in optimization. That was a great job done by the organizers. My first, I would call encounter, my first interaction with Professor Srinivasa Rao was, I think, about 30, 40 years ago. But it's a summer school in one of the Gujarat universities.
Professor C.S.K. Bhagavan brought him there. And in fact, I never met Dr. Bhagavan, Mr. Srinivasarao. And Bhagavan introduced me, he introduced himself that he's professor at the university and said, this is my student, Srinivasarao. I really wondered because none of the advisors take the students to conferences. Even if they are ready to take, the administration will take the budget. So that's not a problem. But at that time, Mr. Bhagavan thought of a very good idea. And, when Professor Srinivasarao attended the classes, the semester in which there will be lots of subjects. The new and research scholars are exposed to various subjects and they can choose what they like and so on based on that. In fact, this is the practice which is followed at the ISI too. So when I joined the research scholar, again, same thing happened there, and all the research scholars are taken to summer schools each time, and they're exposed to various advances at that time, so that they can improve their knowledge and let know what is happening and which field to choose and what is interesting and so on. You just don't have to force a research scholar to choose a subject and write a thesis on that. That's not the way. So I'm glad that it happened. At that time, during the question answers and so on and so forth, all the faculty, how we call it, research persons, we all thought that he is a brilliant young man who will one day do wonders. And he did indeed during the last few years. And so I'm very glad to know that thing. And this long association continued, as Srinivas said, it happened sometime back that I was on the committee and so on. But I would like to say about his versatility, as it's been already discussed, which I don't want to repeat again. He's versatile and is a polymath, and everybody knows he was working in various subjects and so on. In one of the Apex committee meetings, I was one of the members, and when I wanted to know the persons who can be nominated, I said, there is one case, Srinivasarao in Andhra University. The chairman said, oh, he is very young. Never knew that for the membership of nominations, age will become a factor. But now he matured a lot and he's in all committees and all places and took up nice positions as president, vice president, so on. And found out that he's one of the members and chairperson of various committees and so on. Now, Srinivasarao was interested in industrial topics too, and people came to him for consultations. He consulted with them, then he heard suggestions and so on. And I understand there were some offers from various well-known companies, but he refused and he didn't want to go anywhere else and stayed with the university. And also, I remember in one case, there was a suggestion that he should take up directorship from one of the well-known institutions. And when we were discussing, he told me that I started there, I would like to be here. I know one day I will become a principal with a retirement, and I will be in the othermost country. I don't want like a graduation, I don't want to go on leave and so on. I'm glad that he did that. I'm very happy to know that he was the principal of the colleges and so on. And but talking about industry and so on, as just pointed out, we got interested with all the students, with all the statistical got introduced also, and I'm happy that he contributed a lot to the development of his engineering subjects as well, the applications in other industrial areas. Long time back, about 20 years back, there was a paper in technologies about journals and research and so on. It said that the England that engineers are taking over from statisticians, they are doing all applications and so on. But what's all the statistical applications in such as all that, and also the methodology and technologies. Now about the KV and the side, the knowledge studies and statistical innovations, let me tell you something very interesting. The statistical innovation is very fast. Suppose somebody starts and says he had some innovation, he publishes a paper and so on. People who don't know the applications of that, for a long time, people will realize that the knowledge was there and they discover that and then do wonders based on that. I'll give an example, simple example. Nowadays, when you look at the papers on machine learning, pattern recognition and so on, All the papers were called Maharana this square. Maharana this square plays a very important part, and every paper they just put the Maharana this square and so on. And based on that, they asked and so on, lots of things are developed from that. But question, did Maharana know anything that machines had been? So in one of the meetings, one of seminars like this, I mentioned the following. In 1961, when I joined ISI for MSAT, we used to have what are known as SASIF machines, I think made in Switzerland. So it's a hand-made machine which you turn handy, which then produces numbers and we add up the all calculations, including inverses of matrices and so on. So as students, we used to do this SASIF machine, which was imported, and then do all the calculations based on that. What he did was, he took the machine to his office, he completely opened the fashion machine. He wanted to know how it is done and how it is prepared. And he asked his friends in the workshop to prepare an instrument like that. So there came up something called the Santa Yantra. That is the calculator which he computed and so on. So that is the knowledge of machine learning of Wahadabis. So the learning which is already there have been applied now in statistical innovations and all the other aspects of that. Now, coming back to the new age of statistics, there are lots of new developments and so on. The young scholars here, the young students who are still graduating, we tell them that you just have to wait for a couple of years more till you pass your first year degree, bachelor degrees and so on. So you still have to know the proof of mathematical theorem and so on. You have to pass your first class. And then later on, you look at this new age of statistics and so on, all the changes that are taking place, data analysis and so on, where you apply whatever you have learned. But at the same time, don't forget the theory behind that, because we all the people who have most knowledge of theory and so on, it's not just some app which you are going to apply. You know the background and see, apply very properly, and then use it in good fashion. I think with that, I will claim because we are running behind time, and some of my friends waiting in abroad, where it is snowing and it's getting cold and so on, so I will stop here. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Icon-Ksrao, for your nice words. In fact, you have recollecting that conference when I was a research scholar. That permanently it happened. I met Prasad, the organizing secretary at that time. And that conference of the research scholar went to that along with my guru and my teacher, Professor Baron. I always attribute all my credits because of his teachings. I could achieve anything if I can do in my academic area. So my teachers, like two teachers, I was very much influenced there. One is M.P. Shastri Garu, who was a great mathematician vision theorem. And without a blackboard, he used to teach mathematics. Just like that, he used to stand and teach the mathematics. Student has to write. At the end of the class, student has to reproduce the theory, theorem, and prove everything, and solve the problems also. So without a blackboard, I never see in my life learning mathematics without a blackboard. He was such a great teacher. Without a blackboard, Dr. Very Icon-Ksrao at MR College. He used to teach us. And when I told that, sir, the other subject we are unable to get, some doubts are there and we are not able to get clarification. Then he told, you alone are all the class. And he told that if you are not able to get that, means I can understand your entire class is not able to get, come to my house at morning 7:30. Class should come at morning 4:30. No tuition, free. It is free of cost. But all the students should attend at 4:30. We used to go to his house at 4:30. By the time he used to finish his work, puja and everything, he was ready in the classroom. He has a small room in his house, and he was ready. He taught us mathematics like that. Now I can still remember what I learned during that period by having a lemma and after real analysis theories. Without that, I can derive like the convergence, divergence problems, which are said to be very difficult problems. But still I can remember and I can derive with that. That was a great teacher. Here my teacher is a very good researcher, I say, rather than a teacher. That is my professor, Bhagavan. In Andhra University, unfortunately, my association with him is only 10 months. Unfortunately, at a premature age, he expired. In Andhra University, he was a professor. I joined with him as a research scholar. But during the 10 months, he is the person who told me, during that time, only literature is internal. The guide was to certify, conduct the examination, send the marks. Then he told, what is the syllabus? He told that 10 textbooks. 10 textbooks, that is the syllabus. He gave the textbook names. Whenever you say that you are ready for writing the examination, then I will conduct the examination. No choice will be there. If you could complete 70% mark, not 35, 40, 50. 70% mark, then only I can do that. Otherwise, you have to wait 1 more year. Then I finished in a 9 months period. I told them I am ready. Whatever you want to, in that, including exercises, everything in the 10 textbooks, I am ready to write the exam. Then I conducted the examination. I got 100 out of 100 in that. Then he told that I am very happy. You have completed the time you have given me for complete probably 6 hours, not 3 hours. 6 hours. I used to complete that program, and that was my foundations. Where I can enter in any area of statistics, that may be in, I have done research in mathematics, statistics, computer science, mechanical engineering, electronics and communication engineering, management. In all these subjects, I have done research. My publication all these interdisciplinary areas. Yes, Bhagavan, I should always remember him. And that's why I, of course, when he had passed away, I put my first son's name as Bhagavan. So, my association with him is only 10 to 11 months period. But he is the person who has a very great influence on me to become a good academician. Sir, you remember my teachers. Thank you very much. And also thank you very much for accepting the keynote speaker of this conference. You have an affection towards all the statistics faculty. Thank you. The next item is Professor Manuswamy will be felicitating the guests. Yes, sir. The college, so you need not felicitate. Right, now it's time to felicitate our guests. Now I request our principal and other dignitaries to felicitate today's function chief guest, right? Professor Icon-Ksrao. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and participating in this conference. Now I request to place Srinivasrao to felicitate our Dr. Professor K. Samathan. Ready to make first. Next to this class. Now I request our principal to felicitate to Professor P. Srinivasrao. already been verified. Next to Mashak.
Now I request Professor C. Vimasekara, please accept our felicitation. Now, first question. Now I request to our record Professor to Professor P. Tirupatra sir. Yes sir. Professor P. Tirupatra sir, we accept our felicitation. Verma sir is to felicitate our. My request today's function conference convener Professor P. Suresh Verma, please accept our thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I request our principal to felicitate to our chairman PG Board of Studies, Professor K. Nirupara.
I have a privilege of all my faculty members now are my students. Of course, Manswami is my student.
But indirect.
After he joined, he became my student.
Yes.
Madam.
Okay. I request to Dr. Icon-Ksrao, Faculty Department of Statistics, to accept our now I move conference co-convener Dr. Sridhar Akuri, Icon University, and accept our felicitation. Sorry, final. Finally, now I request our dignitaries to felicitate to our principal Professor K. Srinivasarao garu, whose Icon-Ksrao.
Now I request our Professor Srinivasarao garu to felicitate Dr. Manswami. Yes. Sorry. What of thanks by three. Good afternoon to all. On behalf of the conference secretariat, I consider it a great privilege to propose a top thanks to all who witnessed this inaugural function of International Conference on Knowledge Discoveries on Statistical Innovations and Recent Advances in Optimization as a memorable and successful program. From the bottom of my heart, on behalf of the organizing committee, I express our deep sense of gratitude to our Chief Patron, Professor PVZD Prasad Reddy Garu, the Distinguished Vice Chancellor of Andhra University, for his excellent and consistent support in designing and organization of this academic event. Our gratitudes and thanks to our beloved Registrar of Andhra University, Professor V. Krishnan Garu, for his all-round support and in providing the necessary infrastructure in successful organization of the event. I express my profuse gratitude to our chief guest, Professor T. Jagannathan Garu, for unveiling with her words of wisdom. Dear sir, we are fortunate enough to have you as our chief guest. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing your valuable time. I extend my sincere thanks to our guests of honors, Professor Samita Gandhi, Rector, Andhra University, Professor P. Srinivasarao Garu, Principal, Engineering College, and Professor C. Umashankar Garu, former Registrar, RSVP, in accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion. We, the members of organizing committee and the student secretary, Professor K.S. I'm extremely grateful and indebted to our learned and distinguished teacher, Professor K. Srinivasarao, the Principal of Andhra University, Science Technology, in accepting our invitation to act as the president of this mega event. And once again, we profusely thank you, sir, for your distinguished services. I take this opportunity to express our deep sense of gratitude and thanks to Professor D. Muniswamy Garu, Head of the Department of Statistics and Organizing Secretary of this International Conference, Professor T. Garu, Dean Government Institute of Political Sciences, Pondicherry Central University, and Program Chair of this International Conference, P. Suresh Verma Garu, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Dean of Economic Affairs, Icon-University, and co-convener of this international conference, Icon-Ksrao 2022, for their untiring efforts in making this conference as a memorable and successful event. I place on record to express our heartfelt thanks to Professor Vidya Devi Garu and Dr. Icon-Ksrao Garu, the Faculty of Department of Statistics, Andhra University, for their continuous support. I am utterly grateful to all the fellow members of the committee and the student statistics committee of Professor K.S. Garu for their active participation and contribution helped a great way in successful organization of this conference. I am very thankful to Computer Science Andhra University for their support in technical aspects. Our thanks are due to the honorable innovators, the press, the electronic media, and to those who are responsible directly or indirectly in making this function a successful and memorable one. Thank you, one and all.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा यमुना गंगा उच्चल जननी तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाने तब जय गागा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Now, all the research scholars and students come forward to take a group photo. Our faculty members and research scholars, please come forward. Right. So, dear students, after the photo session, the next lecture is there. How much? 7 seconds. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's last with this one. Photo last with this one. I like it. Thank you. All are requested to sit in our respective seats, please. Now we are going to have a keynote address
keynote address by Professor P.J. Rao sir. Sir, మీరు ఏమైనా ప్రెజెంటేషన్ మామూలు మాట్లాడిస్తారా పీపీటీ ఏమైనా ఉందా ఇచ్చిందా లోడ్ చేశారా రైట్ జాయిన్ అయ్యి ఉన్నారండి ఇది అయిపోయిన తర్వాత హలో Okay. Now, it is a talk on anadrone in finite population sampling theory. Professor P.J. Rao, sir. Sir, I request you, please. Thank you very much. I should be something and the keynote address. Since this is a keynote address, I would not like to make it maybe mathematical, statistical. And also there may be some so I shall keep it just fundamentals, very simple details. Not much about the advances in optimizations. So that's how I the knowledge discovery, there was lots of knowledge discovery and statistical innovation which we have already discussed in our inauguration. What I want to stress and tell the scholars and some faculty is something important which some of us are missing. So the subject I chose was what happened some 50 years ago, but still it's all innovation, statistical innovation at that time. And the knowledge discovered then has been quite useful. So my title is Unordered of Samples in population theory. And what I want to stress is the following. Suppose you are in sampling, you don't want to complete operation, you want to take sample that you have conclusions. Then what we do is we take a random sample because otherwise the results will not be meaningful. So we would like to take a unbiased sample if possible, and what we want to take is a random sample which is some of the. So when you take a sample, the simplest thing that we learn first in the class is what is a simple random sampling. And next one. Next. When you do a random selection, there will be repetition of units. So there was once a difficulty when people thought that how do we use this information. It's first notice, as I showed in the next couple of slides and so on, that Icon-Ksrao calculation, which is credited to C.R. Rao, he wrote a paper in 1945, which is called a This paper is in the Bulletin of Calcutta Mathematical Society, and it provided improved estimators in so many subjects, especially sampling, in routine sampling which you learned in our class, and also in the recent advances like sampling, using capping, size bias, the host will discuss goes through all this introduction. Now, in this talk, you should consider application related to improving estimators in finite population sampling theory, because that's what we are concerned with. We have a finite population, and from that we take samples. So while doing this, I shall point out certain lapses which happened in the past. And as faculty, students, and business scholars, we may have to correct those lapses and so on. That's where they. So first, let me start with Rob localization. Next one. So in 1958, the paper by Professor D. Bossi, who is an expert in sufficiency and so on, he found that when you take a random with announcement, there's some repetition. See, order the numbers. If you select unit number 1, 3, 1. So when you increasing order, that 1 is deleted and so on, we get distinct units. So Bossi said that if you take an order statistic, then it is sufficient statistic, and this idea was improved upon by Patak, who in 61 in the constitutional sample service said that estimator, which is not a function of order statistics, can be improved probably by this technique called Bob localization technique. Some of the estimators, it is simple answer because that's quite clear to all of us, but what's known as the probability to put into size sampling. So let us see what this PPS technique is. Next one. So, back. So we shall be looking at the PPS WR technique. Next one. 6 is not coming. Back, little backward. Well, there is something missing here. It doesn't matter. The first paper, perhaps we can refer to, is my Avery Doss of ISI, where he produced the PPS without replacement estimates. So what is PPS is called probability proportion to size sample. We have units. From that, if we take a simple random sample, you may get all mixture of units, like some big and some small and so on. So it is advised to take a sample with probability of selection proportional to the size. That's called the PPS. But again, PPS we can do either with replacement or without replacement. So we have already said that with replacement is not here. So we go for without replacement PPS sampling. So how to do that? First, perhaps is by A.C. Das of ISI, who in 1951, he was not interested in such doing something else of successive sampling. He had a small couple of pairs of the without replacement, and he produced some estimators called the T1, T, etc., which debit name also. So DOS has given a set of estimators, T1, T2, T3, etc. Then doesn't matter. Okay, fine. Leave it there. Leave. We want to prove that. Before. So please accept that DOS has given the estimators, which do not appear there. But anyway, there is a criticism on DOS and estimator. What is the criticism? Criticism is that this estimator does not provide a positive variance estimate. It's not enough if you get an estimate. As a statistician, you want to also estimate the importance of the user. He will ask you, what is the use of this estimate? Are you correct or not? So he will tell him the confidence interval and all that. That is the important thing. So we give bounds, we give the variance, and we give the estimate for the variance. The variance is a formula which we call complex parameter. So estimate the variance based on the sample itself. That's the greatest we have. When you take a good sample, we can estimate the variability as well. So we give the user not only estimate, but also an estimate of the variability. Thus, thing that it's not good in the sense that it may take negative values. It's possible it may take negative values. It's useless for the person who is using the data. But then next year, and Thompson, they gave a general homogeneous individual unbiased estimate. Okay. This Thompson estimate we call the HT estimator, which is something similar to what we call in TPS. TPS, you all know that it's YI by PI. Why PI? Because a big unit will get larger probability PI, split in the denominator, YI by PI. Whereas Hurwitz and Thompson gave an estimator, which is defined as in terms of inclusion probability. So inclusion probabilities are something like selection probabilities, but they are based on this dynamic design. So you have a design, so you ask the question, where is this unit included? Unit in the first sample, the second sample, etc., and then add up all the things to get the inclusion probability. So that the user, they got a nice estimate with those properties. And surprisingly, what many people don't know is that in the same year, Andhra University also produced the same estimator published in the Journal of Indian Society of Ethical Statistics. So 50s still there is not much of correspondence between people in different parts of the world. This R.D. Narayan subject is not taken by many people. So J.N.K. one of the stalwarts in sampling theory quotes that and say that we should perhaps call it MHC estimator, Narayan Hurwitz Thompson estimator. Okay, that's the. So I claim that the credit was given to Narayan by calling it MHC estimator. Then Hurwitz Thompson, they also gave an unbiased estimator variance. Earlier I was saying that DOS estimator did not have a variance estimator, which is possible. But Hurwitz Thompson also gave an estimator, and that also turned out to be negative. Hurwitz Thompson estimator turned out to be negative. Therefore, we will not say that why DOS estimator should not be accepted. When there is something else, estimator which has a nice property also has a negative estimator. Estimator. In the next year, Icon they have a paper in society where they also gave a variance estimator. That is also taking negative value. So each person when they construct an estimator, they are turning out to be negative. So the question is, people this criticism DOS estimator rather than saying how it is improving that trying to find out its properties. So that is the problem. And Icon paper says that again, they say that unaware of Hurwitz Thompson paper the very next year, it's not the same estimator Hurwitz Thompson estimator. So here comes the credits. Should be given credit. Who is the person who invented it first? Knowledge innovation comes there, or that's the expression. So do reference to everybody and write claim as NHT estimator should be called MYHT estimator. And this variance estimator given by Hurwitz Thompson also given by A.R. Sen, again in the Journal of Indian Society of Ethical Statistics. So what's happening? There in that side, Western side people are producing results. In India too, it's happening.
Fortunately, it's not published that well, and not those days we didn't have internet or Google or anything. Therefore, people did not recognize the roots of the paper. It's not given properly and so on. So as faculty members, as scholars and students, when we read something or when we quote something, we give credit to the person also who created the formula or whatever it is. Next one. It exists. It is there. So in the discussion where I said all the estimators provided have negative values, why should we criticize DOS estimator? It's not proper. That also takes negative value. Okay. Unless you come up with something which takes non-negative value, we are not happy with that thing. So DOS estimator is singled out and that has been neglected. That's my claim. Next one. Now, what is the beauty of DOS estimator? Why is it called so nice and why are the estimators given later? Upon say well and so on. So you will see that in the next. So what happens is, if you look at the DOS estimator, which is not here, you will notice that each time the estimator is given, it depends only on that particular product. It does not include the values which are selected before. So it's quite possible that when they collect the data, some of the previous things are missing due to non-response, that they did not respond and so on. So the other estimator which takes previous values plus the new value. If the previous values are not there, you can't compute that estimate. That's the difficulty with Bishop's estimator, which everybody took and so on. That's why does it happen? Non-response, etc., etc. So there is a property, new property, which is called for estimating population total based on an ordered estimator, one after another, sufficient to have the value by that particular draw only. You don't have the other things, you do not necessarily to have that thing. This seems to be a valid property because the non-response, not at home, availability, refusal, etc. You don't have the previous data, so you can't construct an estimator which is based on that data as well. So what I want to only now, based on that, I will complete the estimator. Sure. And Marshall takes it up and says that in the famous essay of 77, he rejects what Deshpande has given as a estimator. Deshpande has given, which includes the previous values, also says it doesn't have property of face validity. That's the problem with that estimator. Now, following Marshall, one could suggest a concept similar to face validity, and we call it as an ordered estimator is said to be order valid. The estimator based on the result of a particular draw do not depend on the value values of the previous draws. So it's enough for me if we know the value now, I use music estimating the population total. It happens that that estimate may be inefficient, but then when there is non-response and so on, that's the only way. Know that it is inefficient because based on only one observation. At the same time, I know that it's not possible to include the previous data because the data is not available. Therefore, this is the only way, nothing else can be done. That's why. Now, Deshpande is an estimator based on order. Andhra, most of you will be following this, some of his papers and so on. He concentrated on Deshpande estimator and he took this order estimator and then he ordered that estimator. What do you mean by ordering? Suppose I take the first unit and you take the second unit. Now one estimator, we have another estimator, as you see in the next one, which disappeared. I think wherever is symbols, it got disappeared. Next one. Yeah. So what is happening is that if you look at Deshpande estimator, you take unit number 10, I take unit number 26 later. So based on 10, you give an estimate to say yi by 2, y10 by 310, that's an estimate. So I give an estimator. First one is the domain. Supposing I use one estimator first and mine later, you get a different estimator. So this ordering has a big problem. If you order and take unit number 1 and 2, you get one estimator. If you order and take unit number 2 and the 1, you get a different estimator. So how should we take care of this thing? And that Murthy gave a result which says that by weight, naturally you have to weight weighting problem, so you have to give some weights to this thing. What kind of weights was one give? Depends on the probability of the sample. One to selection of one to how did you select? That's the probability. There is another probability. So use these probabilities to weight the estimators with an unordered estimator. So why unordered estimator means it is plus of efficiency. Now I'll give you an example where I want to tell the students about this thing. Who do not get the concept of unordering. I'll say this. Suppose you go to a restaurant. Then the waiter comes and says, what's your order? After in the sense of what the server will come and ask you. Say that bring dahi first. Dahi yogurt, called bring dahi first. So he gets dahi, you eat it, then he comes, what is your next order? You say, bring vada next. So you have a particular dish. Then your friend is there and he orders vada first, followed by dahi. So he has a different taste. Now, if they unorder that and get dahi vada, both of them have different taste and they taste much better. So unordering is something which makes more efficient. Takes care of the order and you don't have to follow the order there and so on. So that was the main concept which was used in sampling theory about it. Not in the so if you this is all done for Bayes-Cross estimators, and as I said, Gauss estimator will be neglected. Suppose if you take Gauss estimator also, you get first for I and J, and then get for J and I, two different estimators, weight them and get a proper combination. The combination will know that estimator, which is a combination of these things and so on. The mathematics thanks to this slide, it also indicates that thing. Next. For obtaining the other estimators also, Boer and Durbin gave some simple selection procedures based on ordered samples of size 2. So following the suggestions here, we also have symmetric. Now what is happening, we are symmetrizing the Boer estimators and so on. We can get symmetric estimators, which are much better than the ordinary estimators. Next one. Okay. Now, I'll tell you a little bit more on the credits, because I was talking about the credits and so on. Most of you perhaps know. In 1945, C.R. Rao wrote this paper in Building of Calcutta Mathematical Society. At that time, just war was there and so on. They were thinking about them, things getting delayed and so on. In fact, we worked on this thing a little bit earlier that got published. Paper style in 1945. Blackwell in 1947, Mathematical Society, 1947. 5 years later, Sheffer and Lehman called it Blackwell theorem. There's a gap, but then Lehman and Sheffer gave credit to both of them. They called it now Blackwell theorem. In 1953, just before that time, in the conference where Bergson named it Blackwellization, started and said I have a result here based on Blackwellization, and C.R. was there in the conference. So he pointed out that he actually did this in 1945 itself, 2 years before Blackwell published that result. Then Bergson replied, it's very difficult to say Raoization. I can't touch my tongue and say Raoization, so I called it Blackwellization. So that was the reason why we call it Blackwellization. But then after getting this news from Dr. Rao, he made it Rao Blackwellization. Also, Lindley, D.V. Lindley has a book review on one of the classical books, and he then said that it's called Blackwell theorem. But when C.R. wrote to him that I also did that thing and so on, then Lindley said, they would not mention that in the introduction. Introduction didn't say that he would be and so on. So C.R. replied saying that I didn't know that introduction is written only for the lyrical base. No, read the introduction and not the full paper. So that was C.R. That's in fact what we were doing. Yeah. Now, in the, like I said, in most of other applications, the very, very interesting application of the Rao Blackwellization, that's called Rao Blackwellization, fill the goal percentages. What is fill the goal percentages? Some of the people, all persons in the class and so on, who play basketball, you have a basket there and you put the ball there. So that is done in like a single step or 2 steps or 3 steps and so on.
So recently, but they have a rankings and so on. In other states, they have the rankings. Who is the top one, is the next one, and so on. These rankings, they said is not the way to rank the people. Here we will do all the considerations like the other variables involved. That is the students for which it came in the end. That's why the students very false to the master. So this is done by 2% point early at the hammer in 18. So it's a very recent application of Andhra University. So there are other applications of the Andhra curriculum as well, and I will just illustrate one of the things very quickly. Next one. This I call organization of WhatsApp. So what is this? We are all involved in WhatsApp and we keep looking at our calculators, computers, cell phones. This is from WhatsApp very much. Now, some people who I know, they are not interested in reading all the messages and so on. For example, suppose there is a festival and so on, we get lots of messages saying that happy blah blah and happy this, happy that and so on. So if it is a Thursday, we'll get lots of photos of some god, and Friday we'll get some other thing and so on. So some of the people are not interested in going through all those things and so on. So the groups, for example, not quoting your group, but in general, there was a conference there. The group just wanted to say something about conference, whatever conference it is. People started asking their things like what is the distance from the station to the venue, and somebody says that can I get a wheelchair and all sorts of things and so on, which you are not interested in WhatsApp. Because if you have a group, you would like to know only about that conference and so on. So for these things, you have it's known as a RBWA. What is that RBWA? For example, suppose everybody says good morning, happy Sankranti, good morning, happy Sankranti, good morning, happy New Year, and so on. This app, what it does is, it groups them all together. Because they are all with replacement. You just get the same thing with different words and so on, with replacement thing. So it groups them and gets into only a single one. So when you open the thing, you just go to only one single thing about greetings on the page, because of greetings because of Friday, etc. Then makes a list of people who send those things and so on. So you are at liberty whomever want to answer and so on. You don't have to go through all those things and so on. You save time, you save effort, and the company wants to make money on that, they can sell it to some people and make it a premium, they can do that one, and so on. It is possible to reduce the time, effort, and effects and understanding. So the organization can be applied in this case of production of necessary data in the case of WhatsApp also. Thank you. Thank you for your interest. And next one. So with very best wishes to have some oversight. Thanks. Thank you very much, and happy and healthy New Year to all of you. Thanks. Thank you very much, sir, Professor Tejan Agaru, for your enlightening talk. Now I request our Srinivas Agaru to just make concluding comments. It's a wonderful. Definitely, we enjoyed your talk, and this is non-finite population theories with respect to the another sampling. We have spoken about it. So that has a very great bearing on estimation theory. We all know that, and it's really wonderful. And in fact, I have two research. Just a clarification on this. This raw blackmarization, we are talking about this, and we are about finite population. Suppose infinite population is there. What about this raw blackmarization? A normal population we have, infinite population. But also, what is the way we can go ahead in order to another sampling? That is the one part of the thing. Raw blackmarization. Minimum variance bound estimators, that what exactly we will come across and we will be taking. There is what efficiency when we look into that. So this raw blackmarization, is there any further generalizations on that? That will be very interesting part of the thing. It will be really going to be a multidimensional part of the considerations. Important. Another part is with respect to the mixes of the different populations when we look into that. Any part of the thing that are there in that. These are the two clarifications which I will be having in mind. And for the benefit of the many of the young people, if you could throw a little light on that, that will be a great help to them to do further on this. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your.
But sir, you want to speak anything?
No. Thank you, sir, for Professor Srinivas Rao for uploading this one. Now, it's a time for having the plenary talk, Professor Ashish Gupta. Professor Ashish Gupta on the line, sir. Sir, Professor Ashish Gupta. Sir, Professor Ashish Gupta. Yeah, he is there. Sir, unmute and speak, sir.
Unmuted. So now can you hear me?
Yeah, sir. Yes.
Okay.
I'm pleasure to introduce Professor Ashish Gupta. Okay, scroll down. I mean, scroll up. Scroll up. Right. Scroll up.
I am trying to share my screen, okay?
Just a moment, sir. Yeah. Scroll down.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One moment, sir. One moment. Yeah. Professor Ashish Gupta, earlier faculty of Applied Statistics Unit, Indian Statistical Institute, Calcutta. And he also a faculty member, Department of Statistics, University of California, Riverside. Yes, sir. He had a very good affiliations with many academic bodies, being a faculty member of Riverside, Calcutta. His most renowned research is in the area of directional data analysis and circular data analysis. It's my pleasure, Dr. Ashish.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
You can hear me and can you see my screen?
Joby, this one. సార్ మాట్లాడుతున్నారు అతను.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are visualizing you. Please speak.
So I am maximizing my screen now, okay? So you can see the full screen. Let me maximize it. Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. We are visible and audible also, sir.
Okay, good, very good. So how much time do I have, Srinivas?
Sir, you can make it at your convenience, sir. 20 to 30 minutes, sir, maximum.
How much? 20? 30?
Yeah, 20 to maximum 30 minutes. Make it.
Good. Okay, thank you very much. So it's a pleasure for me to be here today for a very special occasion, and a joyous occasion in one hand, maybe a little bit sad on the other. But after all, I think this is a very joyous occasion because we can come back to what we wanted a few months back. Unfortunately, there were some incidents and we could not have this conference. But the good people do have their share. And so that is what is happening with Icon-Ksrao or Srinivas Rao. He has been good to the community, good to our statisticians, good to the students. He deserves this felicitation. So it's a very happy occasion that we could get back here, and the blessings that has been bestowed on him in terms of the benevolence and also in terms of his achievements are well appreciated. So I met him quite a few years back. After that, several times. It has always been a pleasure. And he has been very active. I know him from his early ages. At that time, quite young. And what impressed me was his energy, his activities, most of all, his kind-heartedness and his human value. That's what impressed me the most. I think I last met him in 2011 when we were celebrating the 90th birth anniversary of Professor C.R. in ISI. He wanted me to come to the conference in AU. I came there. I said I would come only for a couple of days. I did that. I had to go back for the CRO 90 conference that was organizing in ISI. But it was really a joyous occasion for me. I enjoyed that visit and I saw how active he was. Mr. Rao has also been acting in working in different areas. Some of his areas, obviously, optimization, all you are aware of, machine learning. We had asked him once to come to one of the IP conference in Kolkata. Unfortunately, he could not. But his work has been appreciated. I was quite interested in the breadth, the width, and the depth of his work. So today, what I'm going to talk about briefly is in an area sort of related to Srinivas's work. This is in the area of machine learning. He has done some work on study, unsupervised learning. I've seen some of his work. I thought this may be a good occasion for me to talk on the topic. Though this has a twist, what I'll be talking about is the machine learning for big data, not on the Euclidean space, not on the real line, but this will be on the manifold, which I'm going to explain as we go along. So the aim today is to show how in statistical machine learning, the methods of directional data, I'm going to explain what is directional data, can solve problems, for example, for circadian rhythms, signals, a lot of various areas where you encounter nonlinear data in a special form. And if we use our linear methods, then that will lead us to difficulties, that will lead us to, in fact, incorrect conclusions, which can have drastic results on the procedures that are adopted based on these inferences. And there's a real-life application which you cannot really translate to the linear case to the case on the real line. And they themselves, on their own merits, they require the application of these new techniques, new methods I'm going to talk to you about. So what is circular data or what is directional data? These data refer to the observations on angles, directions, the protractor. Angles could be, let's say, the incoming angle of the wind or the outgoing angle, for example, when which direction the birds are flying out. So the angles are, this we have to be very careful how to define the incoming, the outgoing. Also, when you measure the angles, you take the zero in the mathematical sense, it will be the due east. For the people in geology, it will be due south. People in physics, it will be due north. So people have different sense of zero direction. So we have to develop this method using this invariance with respect to the data, not only with respect to the nuisance parameters, but also with respect to the data in terms of the zero direction.
Hello.
Hello?
Sorry for interruption, sir. Sir, are you sharing my any PPTs?
Yeah, I'm sharing my slides.
No, it's not disclosing. It's not disclosing your presentation.
Last time you told me that you could see that. That's
Please make use of share option, sir.
yeah. I used the share option,
Okay.
so it's not being shared. It's showing me on this. Just a minute. Let me see.
It's not coming.
Is it coming now?
No, no.
Let's see. Let me see if I can. I'm going to screen share.
Share option.
Okay.
Sir,
I'm going to share now.
share option, sir.
Okay.
Very cheap. Yes, sir.
Is it coming?
So now open the PPT. Okay, okay, sir.
I've opened the PPT.
Sir, make it full screen, sir. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to the first screen, but is it coming? Are you seeing anything?
Yes, sir, it's coming.
Okay, you have seen.
Now you can speak. Right, sir, please.
Okay, the first screen is there.
On the veteran sir.
Huh?
On the screen, sir.
Yeah. Sir,
I'm
you
not
can
going to make it full screen.
continue, sir. Continue and split the screen. That
I'm
is
trying
it.
to make it full screen. Tell me whether you can see it.
Yeah, make it. Yeah, now it's very nice, sir. Very nice.
So you can see the full screen now, right?
Okay.
Okay. Can I proceed now?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the second screen?
Yes, sir, we are getting. Please. Continue.
All right. So this is what I was talking to you about. So I was going to talk about the statistical machine learning for data on manifolds, which are not linear, not on the Euclidean manifold, but rather on the other types of manifolds, like on the circle and sphere and the cylinder, smooth manifold. So I talked about this briefly a little earlier, and here is what I meant by directional data or circular data, which refers to angles and directions. And then you can also think about exact periodic events, 24 hours in a day. Okay, so you can transform this 24 hours into 360 degrees. Each hour will correspond to 15 degrees. And so every strictly periodic event can be mapped on the circumference of a 360 degrees circle. So this transformation can be done on vectors also, so that you can make it a unit vector. And to this unit vector, you can assign the angles, just like on the sphere, so that you can map the observations on the surface of a sphere onto the ones that you have coming from the observation, let's say, on a R3-dimensional real vector. And I was talking about the initial direction. The initial direction 0, as I mentioned, it has to be chosen, and it varies from application to application. For example, when you talk about the incoming direction of the wind, that is the direction that from which the wind is coming. And then when you're talking about the outgoing direction, that is the direction in which, let's say, the birds are flying out. So that is the two concepts of, at least two concepts of the direction incoming and outgoing. And then the angles that you are measuring, in mathematics, you take due east as 0. In geology, we'll take due north as 0. In physics, we take due south as 0. So some of it could be linear, some it could be circular, axial, so on. So it could be in arbitrary dimension of 2. And then we need to analyze such data. So the type of manifold we're talking about, if you look at the Euclidean is RP, on the circle it is S1. If you take 2 circles, then it will be torus. If you take 3 circles, then it will be a hypertorus. Similarly, on a sphere, it is S2. You can take a hypersphere, or you can take disk and hyperdisk and cylinder and so on. So let me skip this. So these are some initiating references. If you are interested in probability distribution statistics, you can look in the book, or which is going to appear next year. And this is the one which has already appeared with Barry. You will see lots of applications and also good theory. This is a bicentennial tribute to Florence Nightingale. It just came out. And the third one is sort of a textbook. In many countries they use it. You can see the introduction to this type of manifold data, especially the circular statistics. Here's an example. If you think of runners and the injuries they sustain, the data taken from University of Calgary in Canada. So I had contacted several people there, and this data actually was stored in their lab from the runners which had encountered some injuries. If you look at the third, fourth, and fifth, time to maximum immersion, time can be mapped onto a circular variable on the 360 degrees, as I mentioned earlier. 24 hours can be mapped into 360. So 12 o'clock midnight and 1 a.m. over here, if you look at, they are not actually 23 hours apart, but they're simply 1 hour apart. So there's a circular variable. Similarly, rotation angle in the peak knee internal rotation angle is an angle. Peak hip abduction angle is also an angle. So these are all angular data, and they need to be treated accordingly. And then you can know about circadian rhythms, which are now monitored in many hospitals using this actiography or this ActiWatch, some people call. They stored a lot of information on a periodic record over the 24 hours. Chronobiology, where it looks at the peak circadian rhythms of the human body. For example, your blood pressure, so on. It could be your heartbeat. You can look at the heart rate. So these conditions over 24 hours are be recorded. Here's another example where you're looking at the data from bioinformatics. It's microarray data. You're looking at the expression levels, peak times in the expression levels. You have set of genes which are common to both heart and liver, and looking at their expression levels. So the question here is to see which genes are close in terms of the synchronization between the two types of expression times that we're looking at the tissues in the heart and in the liver. If they're very close, it could have very significant meaning. For example, the drug, the medicine you're using for the heart could adversely or favorably affect the ones in the liver if their peak times are the same. So they can be affected. Okay. But if they are sort of far away, then in that case, you can be administering the drug. So here we need to cluster these expression times which are circular into groups which are similar, so that we can, before giving the drug, we can be careful that whether this drug is going to affect the other type of tissue that we are not interested in. If you want to administer the drug for the heart, better be that it affects heart and not the liver. So other ones are, for example, in your color imaging, nowadays we are long way ahead of what we used to do maybe 10 years back in terms of RGB. Now we think of HSV, which is the hue, saturation, and value. And hue is an angular variable, so that the ones that you want to really study is now becomes a data set on circle cross R cross R, which is a hypercylinder. Space junk is another example. For the sake of time, I'm going to move on. Here's how I will represent the data. Is a sort of histogram, but not on the linear scale, but it's on the circle. And then you can have it a cuboidal, a three-dimensional representation. Data on the torus, this is how it will look like. Points on the surface of the donut, points on the surface of the cylinder, points on the surface of a sphere, and it will be points inside the sphere, which is called a hyperdisk. So the density functions have some special constraint. Theta, as you know, is a periodic value variable. So for example, 10 degrees and 370 degrees, they are the same. It is modulo 2 pi. So the third condition here has to satisfy that constraint. any distribution you want to make should satisfy this constraint. And similarly, the density function that you are observing in the scale of minus pi to plus pi, the one in the figure B, it will look nice symmetrical Bell model, but the same distribution looks like a bath when it is when it is exhibited from 0 to 2 pi. So this is how the peculiarity, the characteristics comes in with the circular data. So the same data can look differently when you plot them on the linear scale. So the correct way to plot them is on the circle, where this kind of differencing will not appear. So now here is what we have. The angular mean, a set of angular values, is different from the arithmetic mean, as you can see. Okay, so if you take two angles, 15 and 345, obviously these two angles, the mean is going to be 0 degree. If you take the arithmetic mean, it will be 180, which will be totally misleading. So this is the trigonometric mean. That's how we define. Naturally, if the mean is different, so will be the variance, circular variance, and so will be its circular correlation coefficient. This is an example which shows the usual circular equation will not work. So now we go on to circular toroidal PC, the principal component analysis. That's one thing that all of us want, is to reduce dimension with big data. Big data also has at least four types of characteristics. It's variety. This is what we're talking about, the new variety. Then we talk about the size of the data. So it's the dimension P. So we'd like to reduce the dimension. So you think of principal component analysis with this type of data on the torus, or the circle or hypertorus, which means circle across circle P times. So if we have this kind of toroidal on P circles, like we are observing wind data, the direction of the wind in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and the night. So there will be this type of four-dimensional data set that we're looking at. And I'll give you an example for other data sets also. And we like to reduce the dimension. And you can go into hundreds and thousands. To keep matters simple, let's talk about in terms of the data with the dimension P. And here is the covariance matrix. We have used the data set, use cosine theta, sine theta I, represented in terms of a vector, each angle theta. Corresponding to this, let's say the variable u equal to cosine theta sigma covariance matrix. Sigma c is the covariances for the matrix for the cosine, sigma s for the sines, and cs is the cosines and sines. So now we have over here variance covariance matrix, which is going to be A transpose sigma A, and it is going to be now two-dimensional. Remember, in the usual principal component analysis, when you look at y is a scalar quantity, so I have only one variance, sigma square, which is given by A transpose sigma A, where A is a vector. In our case, that is not the case. A is a matrix, so that we have now a two-dimensional y instead of a one-dimensional y in the linear case. So now we want to minimize this, some measure of this covariance matrix. We want to minimize this variance. We are going to take its total variance, which is the trace of this variance y, and subject to the normalizing constants A prime A equal to 1. And once you do that, from eigenvalue theory, we know that the first principal component that we have over here is going to achieve this from 2.2 with that constraint. The first principal component is going to give you the supremum, which corresponds to the eigenvalue, the largest eigenvalue. And from there, the eigenvector leads to y1, which is the first principal component. Again, this first principal component is a linear combination of vectors, cosine theta, sine theta I. So it's a two-dimensional vector. All the students and research scholars, you recall that principal component that when you talk about in the linear case is just a one-dimensional variable. The first principal component is a linear combination of the p components of the random variable x. But in our case, we now have x as a not a a vector, but rather it's a matrix. So that now is not a linear variable, simply going to be on R1, but rather it's a weighted sum of two-dimensional vector, and hence y on itself is a two-dimensional vector. Okay, so this is my first principal component. We can construct the second principal component by applying the orthogonality of the first principal component with any other linear combination, so that the total variance of the second linear compound, that is the linear principal component, that we are given by 2.8, which is a linear combination as written down there. So we have moved from the usual concept of the principal component being a linear function of scalar random variables to a linear function of vector random variables. And this vector is a pre-assigned one and constructed in such a way that it has a 1-1 correspondence with the angle theta I. So this theory nicely goes through the reduction of dimensionality, and doing that we can define Rk as the length of the vector norm Yk, and from there we define phi k as the argument of this complex quantity psi jk cosine theta j plus I times psi jk sine theta j, which is nothing but a linear compound using the weight the psi jk on the component, the jth component of the particular original circular, or rather variable, that we introduced using the vector cosine theta j sine theta j. So in terms of this equation, you can define cosine phi k and sine phi k by taking the norm Rk as the resultant length, the length of the resultant vector. If you do that, you end up with the cosine of a certain angle phi k, cosine tan of phi k, so that phi k now is the angle that you have corresponding to arc tan star of y2k by y1k. So what is this phi k? Phi k is our first principal component angle. Just like in the linear case, when you talk about the first principal component y1, which is a linear variable, scalar variable, similarly here we have a circular variable phi k, which is a single quantity which corresponds to the angle. So what we have done, we have used our circular variable, transformed into, put it into the linear space in the two-dimensional space, constructed principal components which are of dimension 2 as components there for each principal component, linear combination of those. So we end up with a linear combination of the cosine theta I sine theta I, and the first principal component is a linear combination of these vectors. From that, we retrieve the angles that we are interested in. Our main interest is in the particular principal component variable. And since our original variable is angle, we should go back to the angle. And this phi k is the first principal component angle. Similarly, we can obtain the second principal component angle, third principal component angle, and so on and so forth. Okay. If there are p components, we can define and obtain p principal component angles. Obviously, we don't want that. We want to reduce the component, but first of all, the properties. The circular principal components are rotationally equivariant, and they are equivalent with respect to changes in the sense of rotation. And finally, the lengths of this principal component, they remain invariant. Whatever zero you take, you can take the east, north, south, doesn't matter. Sense of rotation, like incoming or outgoing. So it's invariant with respect to all these data characteristics. Okay, so this is a beautiful property of this circular principal component. So in order to do, now we have to obtain the estimates of these components. In order to obtain the estimation of the principal components, we take the sample covariance matrix. SC corresponds to the covariance matrix for the cosines. S is for the sines. So we have P components for the cosines, P components for the sines. Together we have sigma C plus sigma S, so that we have now 2P components, together 2P there. So, and we need a sample size of n to be greater than 2p, so that S is positive definite, and we can do the inverses, obtain the inverses as necessary. So the result tells us that the sample principal components are going to be asymptotically obtained by this result 3.11. It shows that these are going to go in distribution to the multivariate normal distribution, and the sample eigen vectors that you have, G is given by G, are also asymptotically normal, and the asymptotic distribution of these is given by the theorem here. So we have proven the consistency as well as shown the normality, so you can do the estimation and inference part. So the last few slides will deal about the inference part. So how to determine the effective size of the principal component? We don't want to deal with a large size. So here is a theorem which tells you that if you take, let's say delta I is a quantity that we have defined for normalization, then if you take these summation delta inverse over the total is delta I, that is equal to delta. That is the total amount of variation that is explained by Q components out of the total number of P principal components. And we'd like to see how big this is, and accordingly we'll do our inference. So you test that, say, suppose this is, let's say, 80%. So H naught will be 0.8. We want to test that this number of Q components has been able to explain 80% of the variation. And then we can do that by using this theorem that this HQD, our measure, follows also in distribution the standard normal distribution. Okay, with not standard normal. Normal distribution means 0 and the variance beta, and where beta is given by this expression. So this leads us to a very nice test on the dimensionality where we should stop. And when we see that this is achieved, then we can stop. Say, 20-dimensional, and we find that only 4-dimensional, first principal components are able to explain 80% of the variation, then we'll stop there. Okay. And similarly, we can also reduce the number of the constituents in the particular principal component. There are, remember, each principal component will have all the components coming from the original variable. So in the linear case, if a p-dimensional variable you started with, then the first principal component will be a scalar. It will be just a scalar component, true, but it will involve all the p components of the original variable. So we don't want to do that. We'd like to drop those out, and that is done by taking the correlation of the each component in that linear variable compound with the particular component. And to do that, here's a real life illustration, and I'll try to finish it off in the next 3-4 minutes. So this is the same example I showed you in the human body, where they were having this encounters with the particular types of accidents or injury for the runners, the athletes. So you look at these 4 angles. We have taken left peak rotational angle, right peak angle, left hip angle, and right peak hip at angle. There are 4 angles we took, and we wanted to look at the data so that all they are transformed into the variable 0 to 2 pi. So you have to do some pre-processing of the data, because not everything is measured in the due east or due north, or not everything is also measured from 0 to 2 pi. So you have to first analyze the data, pre-process the data, so that everything has the same 0, and also the support is 0 to 2 pi. Once you do that, now you obtain through the algorithm I gave you, through the theorem, this is your first principal component and the second principal component. Behold that we have all 4, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, theta 4 are there. The values that you are obtaining there, you see the phi 1 and phi 2 can be now represented by the components of the theta 2, theta 4 and sine theta 2, sine theta 4. We took 2 at a time. 2 of them were there. And the second one is also cos theta 2, the sine and cosine. So phi 1 and phi 2 are the angles that were obtained from these values. We are not taking the higher order ones because we cannot show you the figure. So in order to display and show you the figures, I have restrained myself only to the first 2 principal components. Otherwise, you will not be able to see and appreciate the interpretation of these principal components. Now you see what has happened. Original data, when you took there, you took 2 of them, for example, you can see all the data are scattered. Okay, it doesn't look like they're concentrated, and there's a high amount of variation there in the data set. Once we took our principal components, we have grouped the high variables together. So now the data are much more ordered, they are much more grouped together, and they are projected in a systematic way over the surface of the torus. So this gives us the interpretation of using a principal component and trying to group them in terms of the variables which have higher variance together. Okay. Now we carry out, for example, we want to look at the test. So if you next carry out the proposed 4 variables, theta 1, theta 2, theta 4, then these are all 4 variables. As I told you, we cannot show the 4-dimensional graph to you. So the earlier data display was on the 2-dimensional thing. And then you have the values as the components of the matrix that you got, the eigenvalues are obtained. You take the maximum as 1.9, and that accordingly you see that 45% is more than 45 is explained by the first principal component, 25 by the second one, and so on and so forth. In order to look at diagonally, you can do a scree plot. And the scree plot tells you that the around 4 that hits the bottom. So that is where you can take, for example, the number of principal components. In order to conduct a test, you can do it. Let's say we want to explain 80% of the variability. You conduct the test as I mentioned to you, and with that test particular one, you have 5% of level of significance. We see that the first 2 circular principal components, they suffice. They explain the more than at least 80% of the total variation is explained by the first 2 principal components. Finally, you can look at which variable you want to drop. Can you drop the 4 variables? There are 4 variables included in each principal component. Can I reduce the dimension? Yes, you can do. If you think that you want the variables which are highly correlated to be there, so you want the value, let's say, to be rho greater than 0.5, you can see from this correlation table that the 4th variable in the second principal component has a value less than 0.43. So you can safely drop that, and you can now aim at a lower dimensional principal component of size 2, and even that within that one you can have one principal component whose number of components also, compounding component, is also small. It's not 4 anymore, it's 3. Okay, so here is what it says. You can do this, and we see that we can drop this next one also. Now you can go on increasing. The approaches have been generalized to cover hyperspherical and hypercube manifold. I don't want to go into that. You can see this way you can reduce a huge high dimensional circular toroidal variable in the manifold on the torus or hypertorus to a smaller dimensional hypertorus, which will retain the characteristic in terms of giving you the maximum variabilities that can be explained by a lower dimensional one, and achieve for big data the reduction in dimensionality for this type of manifolds. Okay, so I'm going to skip this. So I'm just going to go to the last slide and tell you thank you very much. Over to you. Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Any question of anybody? Is there any question? Could you see my slides till the end?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Shall I speak to from my mic? Huh? Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, I appreciate report of your talk on statistical machine learning for modern manifold data. Now it's open for this is open for introduction. Any participants wish to make it?
I'm stopping.
With the speaker. So stop it. Assistant sir, yeah. Stop. Yeah, participants are requested to interact with him and clarify any doubts.
Pardon me?
Right. Now coming to my team, sir, as a organizer, I am very much glad to listen you. This directional data analysis or circular data analysis, speaking with 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. Now, manifold dimensions you have explained in very effective way. Abstracts behind this knowledge is very interesting, sir, novel and innovative. And the statistical machine learning behind this works might be going to witness a revolution in this area. See, really is a very thought-provoking talk, sir. Very much grateful to you for your sparing value. And thank you, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, thank you, and now can be considered the session of plenary talk is completed. So, now we will have the break for lunch. After that, from 2:15 onwards, sessions will be started. All our technical sessions will be from the Department of Statistics. All the participants who are virtual, they are physically here, requested to gather in the Statistics Department after completion of their lunch. And the participants on the online, they are requested to join in their respective rooms. There are 5 tracks or 5 rooms in E mode. One is the session A, I mean track A is with the same link, and the corresponding links also given. BCDE tracks also given in the corresponding links. Hope everyone got the link. Requested to join the respective links at 2:15 sharp. Thank you. So lunch is being arranged on 2 boards. One is left and another is right. Please make your activity of taking lunch at the earliest. Sit down, please.